even when Cousins is not quite at his brilliant best, the opponent still has to play fantastic pool to even live with him and to beat him. The only difference, as you say, was those couple of errors from Kyle, who broke phenomenally well and for the most part played a cracking game.
Yes, absolutely correct, Greg. You see Ian Ali going in off the break.
Yeah, not the start that Ian would have wanted. And Ian Ali, as we know, is a big-time player, has played a lot of high-profile money matches in the past, loves the arena, loves the big stage, and he's already shown this weekend that he is loving the new setup with Ultimate Pool in the arena.
Yeah, he came for a very tight encounter in his last 16, Ian Ali, beating Luke Gilbert 8-7.
And as we know, Luke Gilbert has been on fantastic form recently. Another really, really talented professional. So that was a great win for Ian.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is a different animal.
Yeah, and a good pointer there for all aspiring pool players. You see what Tom Cousins has done immediately is he's gone after the awkward yellow and he's cannoned it out, so now every ball has a pocket, and that is key if you want to be a top performer at this game. It's all about developing your tough ball as quickly as you possibly can, although that is a mistake.
Yeah, he played that very quickly, obviously with the buzzer going down, and a very rushed shot there from Top Cat.
Yeah, I think that is the tricky part to certainly for me. It's you're playing on the outside tables for the most part, not in Cousins' case, which is why that's more surprising. He should be absolutely used to the time clock, but he was rushed then, you could see that, and that's where the error came from. Now, will Ian elect to go up the table straight away for his most awkward red? Yes, he will. And the beauty of that is, as long as he's got an angle, he can now play it naturally and come back down for the 3 remaining reds.
Yeah, he's in A1 position there. Like you say, Greg, when you've got a lone ball at that end of the table, it's imperative you get rid of it early doors. Everything now should be plain sailing, although he came a bit wide there.
Yeah, not sure I would have played that shot. I think he could have just played a little bit of top and comes directly down the table, but every player sees things differently, and as it happens, he's absolutely fine. Taking out the balls in the right order is so important to making it easier for yourself, and also how you're feeling. So Ian's just going to drop this one through. Nicely done. And this is Ian's first match, I believe, on the main table this weekend, so lovely to get your first frame on the board if you can negotiate these last 2 pots, and this will certainly settle him down. And I think it was imperative for Ian to get off to a good start against Top Cat, which he looks like he's going to. Nicely done from Ian Ali.
Yeah, I think that the one difference for me, now we're on these Rasson Apollos as in previous years, and you'll notice it yourself, Greg, is when you played on the outside arena, one of the older tables, and then you came to the TV, there was a gulf of difference between the tables. It's not that much now. Yes, this table probably it's got bigger lights over the top of it, so it will play slightly quicker, but we haven't got the massive difference that the TV tables had, let's say, 18 months ago.
No, that's a really good point. And I played my first match on one of the outer tables yesterday, followed by a match against Carl Sutton on the main table, which unfortunately I lost. However, there was really not much difference at all, as you say. Yes, I think the extra lighting probably does add a degree of quickness to this table compared to the others, but they all play so fantastically well and true. And again, that's another credit to Ultimate Pool in transforming the tables and the equipment that we're playing with. Now that is interesting. That was, I would say, hit at 40 or 50% of what Tom Cousins can do in terms of his power. Look at this.
And do you know what, Greg? I think a couple of in-offs, the break he had last night, that's manifested itself in his head, and he thought, I'm taking some off. I just need to keep that cue ball on the table.
Yeah, and you may think that Cousins is, he's very, very laid back. You may think that he's not a studier of the game, but I can assure you he he is watching other matches on this table in between his to see what other people are doing with the breaks. And he openly said that in his interview last night after his win. He said, look, I will change it up now because in the past he's kept with the same break regardless of how it's been going, and it's cost him tournaments, cost him matches, and that's come from his own words. So great to see that even the best player in the world is always searching for those little extra bits to add to their game.
Yeah, that's how you evolve with the game as you go along, because I say it's changed a lot from when I played. All the equipment, the tables, the tables are so much quicker. I was saying to you just before we went on air, the balls are slightly different, and it's like it's an entirely different sport, but the skills are different. So before, when I played, you'd have to really mash the keyboard to get it from one end of the table to the other. Now it's about the control and the weight, because you can go up and down the table 2 or 3 times now, if you've got plenty of cue power like yourself, Tom. But it's now a different challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that's got its own challenges. The fact that the table does make it easier for you to manipulate the cue ball around is fantastic. However, because it plays so quick and because it slides so much, it can cause you to decelerate on a lot of shots, which I was doing yesterday. So it's just about, as you say, managing the conditions. And once you are cueing well and once you're confident, there's just no better place to play pool. There's a nice shot from Tom. He's just come through so that he can see this red into the right-hand middle pocket. And providing the 8-ball goes in the left-hand middle pocket, this should be relatively routine. You would imagine he'll now play the lower red into the bottom left-hand pocket and then leave himself, hopefully, reasonably straight on the last red.
Well, he'd be quite happy to be where he is now if he's on that last red.
Yeah. You don't really want to be doing too much moving around with a cue ball if you don't have to. So there we go. So Tom's actually left himself an angle. I think he'll probably play the 8-ball into the right-hand middle pocket as we look. Top and a bit of trace of left-hand side just to swing the cue ball round.
That's pretty perfect. So this to level things up, and in goes the simple black, and we are back where we started.
I must admit, Tony, I've been up. I was up early this morning. I was itching just to get back down to this amazing arena, and I was in watching some of the next generation youngsters in the second arena, where we've got more tables than I can even count.
72, I believe.
There you go. That's thank you. And but it was just incredible to see the youngsters playing and having smiles on their faces. Their parents were there supporting them. Just incredible to see the next generation of players coming through, and you've got them coming into this arena to watch the professionals. So excited about the prospect of climbing the ladder. I remember when I was a youngster and sort of coming up the ranks, and it must be no better feeling, no better buzz for them to be playing and getting pictures with some of the professionals, which I've seen. It's just, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's one of those fathers who've been there. It's a mate of mine called Ben Jarram. He's there with his 11-year-old lad who's playing.
He was who I was watching this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was watching. He won 5-1. He was playing a young girl, and she was very, very good as well. But great to see him. He's from Cornwall, of course, and. His dad who'd lost in his own match earlier on. He was proud as punch watching him. Brilliant to see. And what a talent! Is he 11?
He's 11, yeah. Well, Ben, I know he played in the challenge, and he said, "I've lost a young Irish fella." And he was describing him. I said, that must be Denny Buckle. And he said, yes, that's him. I said, yeah, he's a very good player. And there's one for the future from Ireland as well. Another one on the old production line from the Emerald Isle to follow in the footsteps of maybe Stevie Dempsey and Sean Sharkey, Carl O'Donoghue, some of the other Irish greats. Yeah,
always have a very strong Irish contingent in these events. Stevie Dempsey's definitely flying the flag at the moment in the professional event Series 1.
Yeah, didn't he play well last night against Jaden Billingham? That was a really, really good match.
Very, very high standard match, wasn't it?
Jaden
was just a couple of balls where he would have got away with that on the...
Stevie's clock management. unbelievable. Probably the best player to work with the clock in those sort of tight situations.
Yeah, never looks flustered at all, does he? And again, if you are going onto this main table and you've got the added pressure of the shot clock, Jaden, that might be a good one for him to watch back potentially in terms of how Stevie manages the time. I know in his post on Facebook he said, look, he only missed a couple of balls, which he did. He played really well, but as he said, that is the difference at this level. And Jaden, as we know, is definitely one that's going to do an awful lot in this game in the years to come.
Yeah, incredible young player. There's one or two of them, isn't it, coming through?
Yeah, and it's great to see. Absolutely brilliant to see the new talent emerging, and all of them desperate to test this man at the table, who's going to be able to overtake Tom Cousins. In his opinion, he doesn't seem like he's going to be going anywhere.
Well,
for
I
a
said
few
this
years.
yesterday. I said he doesn't seem like he fancies moving off his throne at any time in the near future.
I don't blame him. Never looks like he's doing much, Tony, does he? This is the beauty of Tom Cousins. And again, I harp back on about watching the game. He's always in position for the most part. Everything is just a sort of roll in or a little stun shot, little screw, and that is the key, isn't it?
Well, it's just, even going from the way he walks around a table, it's a leisurely stroll. Mind, it's like, I'm just going to walk my dog down the park and pot a few yellows and a black, and then I'll come home again and maybe have something for lunch. And it's just completely relaxed, isn't it?
And if you ask anybody, look, when's the time that you've played your best pool? When have you done that? And they always say, well, I'm relaxed in practice when it doesn't mean anything. And so what Tom Cousins is able to replicate is all of that, but in these match conditions. And he does it better than anyone, and that's why he's the number one.
Yeah, very good strength of mind as well. If he does play a loose shot, it doesn't affect him. He doesn't change his demeanour or his manner. Might get a raised eyebrow now and again, but it's nothing. He's not, let's say, like Cole Bedford, where he's quite animated in the arena.
Yeah, the cue isn't getting snapped, is it? That's for sure. Or going into the crowd.
No.
He's very relaxed. Craig Waddingham is another really good example of that. He's able just to, if he does play a bad shot, it's like he hasn't played it, he's on with the next one. So nicely done there from Cousins. Takes a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, Greg, is what Tom does better than any other player, is he dishes out the punishment. When you play a bad shot, you get punished every time.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I watched his match against Eddie Barker yesterday, and I think he'd just come off a 8-1 win against Andy, and then played Eddie Barker in the second round, and every single time Eddie made a mistake, Cousins was there just to mop up. And like you say, if you punish your opponent and they know you're going to punish them after every mistake, then it puts so much added pressure on you. So here we go. Let's see if Cousins tries to replicate his previous break. Will he go with less power, more of a controlled hit? He will. However,
well, that's the downside of taking it too much off your break. And it's, you spotted it straight away, Greg, that he's taken quite a bit off. But that is the other side of the coin. Yes, you've kept the cue ball out of the pocket, but you've also, the balls aren't rotating as much around the table as they would normally on a big sledgehammer break.
Yeah, absolutely right. And the other downside is that if you don't make a ball and you break with less power, generally balls tend to come out quite open, as they have here. Ian has elected for yellows, and he's just really got to manage his work here. Every ball has a pocket again. 8 ball goes nicely into 3 or 4 pockets, so just going to stun this one down, leave the 2 in the centre potentially, get rid of those. And then what we'll see from Ian is, if the yellow, there's 2 yellows closest to the bottom red on the left hand side, I'm not sure if the one right of your screen actually passes into the bottom left hand pocket. If it doesn't, then no, it clearly doesn't from that shot. He's just going to play on the outer one next, leave himself a straight one to run through for the 8 ball.
Yeah, you can see she's got a slight bit of angle here, which you can just punch the cue ball across. Just get past around the blue spot area, maybe just a little bit beyond that, and he can easily drop onto the large yellow into the bottom right hand corner. And this frame really should be dead from here. It's been nicely done from Ian. Clinical.
Yeah, and again, I wonder if Tom, who watches on as Ian clears these up to level at 2 each, will look at that last break and maybe change it up for the next time he's at the table. I think he probably will, because it looks like that one was maybe even softer than his first break potentially. So we'll see what he does.
Well, if he was to go on again and then have another soft break and then not get a ball again, he's going to go back to the sledgehammer. As we just cross over to look at Amy Beauchamp playing Mary Talbert. Mary, of course, the recent British Open champion. She won in Daventry.
Yeah, cracking match this should be. Two top players.
Yeah.
On paper, it's a bit of a toss of a coin. You may give Amy the slight advantage, but it would be very slight. And as you say, Mary's just come off a fantastic win at the British Open, so she's full of confidence.
Yeah, that match is over on YouTube if you want to go and watch it. The tie of the round, I would say. That's over there. Mark Shepherd and Lindsay Schultz are on the commentary team as Ian Alley dispatches the black ball in. Of course, we do not have golden break here, so that will come back up. But fortunately for Ian, he did make another ball, so he will continue at the table.
Yeah, and a marked difference in the power of that break versus Tom's last one. So I think Tom will be taking note of that for sure. Ian's elected to go for yellows, and why not? They are nicely positioned. He will just play a little stun shot now, leave himself a slight angle on this yellow into the middle so that he can manipulate the cue ball where he needs to be on his next shot. A couple of things he could do here. He could elect to just brush in through the gap of the red and yellow, or he might elect to actually just stun down through the other gap on the right hand side between the yellow and the red. Depends how he sees it. If you don't have to cannonballs, then there's no point, why make it harder for yourself if you can avoid doing that? And that's what he's tried to do, go through the gap. That's perfect.
Yeah, impressive stuff here from Ian Alley. He's now completely settled in the main arena, and like you said, this is his first visit to the big stage, as it were, the biggest one we have here at Robin Park. Because the other thing as well, Greg, because now we've moved to this, this brand new setup, and we've elevated it up another notch. We have a larger crowd now, that's sat behind, and you can get a few butterflies in there. And people are watching them, as they're going around and they're going in to watch the challenge. They think, right, we'll go and watch there's a big pro match on in the main arena. We'll go and watch that, and it's like a whole day out for them as well. But the crowds are bigger now.
Yeah, and what better feeling as a professional pool player to be walking out into this arena? And as you say, they've not stepped it up a notch. They've stepped it up about 50 notches in terms of the conditions.
Well, I played from, I turned pro in 1990, and I played. So I saw the game elevate in little steps, and then we had the World Championships on TV. This is the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely right. And as we're talking about what Ultimate Pool have done with this great game, Ian unfortunately has made a very bad error. And you just can't afford to do this against Tom Cousins. He should be sat down in his seat now, 3-2 up.
See, he was in a great position, looking clinical, and I made the point that he looks relaxed now. He's ready to go in this arena, playing great pool, and then, well, the old curse of the commentator maybe, but yes, these are the mistakes, like Kyle Cope did yesterday, where you cannot afford to do. You can play matches against Tom Cousins and never have a chance. You can just be wiped off, completely wiped off the floor. But when you do get them chances, you have to take them. And this is the difference between winning these events. You take your chances against Tom when you rarely get them. You can go on and win the tournament.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Tom has got choices now. He doesn't necessarily have to go. He can leave. He could leave Ian tucked in behind this red that he's closest to if he wants to. Just depends how he sees it. Tom is normally very attacking, as we know, but he might just slow up on this shot. Let's see what he does.
I always say as well, and we've always had, there's been a player right at the top. Maybe not so much as we have now with Tom, because he's just, you look at his points, he's got twice as many points as anybody else, on the tour. But it does have an effect with people's game that play him. It has to. They'll play a different shot when you think, I better not play that shot because it's Tom Cousins. I'll play this shot instead to make sure I clear up, and it's the wrong shot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And even if it's not, they're not consciously thinking about it, subconsciously it's in their mind. I'm playing Tom Cousins. He's the world number one. I've got to take all of my chances. And, we're talking about Ian Alley here, who's a highly regarded professional in his own right. And a quality player,
a big money player as well.
Absolutely, he's played at the very highest level and is doing, but it does just add that 1 or 2% extra in terms of pressure on every chance you get, because you have to take them. It's such a big match for Ian. I'm not sure where he is in the rankings, but as you get to the quarterfinals, the ranking points start going up massively. You only really need one good event to suddenly propel yourself, in the top 16 or even the top 12, which is massively beneficial, not only financially but also for the next tournament's draws, because you actually miss some of these top players in the earlier rounds.
Yeah, if you can make a couple of semi-finals, I mean, that really chucks you up the ranking list. Obviously, winning one, well, the points
takes care of itself then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, of course it does.
Yeah. So, we thought it was going to be 3-2 to Ian Alley. It's not. It's 3-2 to Top Cat. And I'm interested to see what he does on his next break. Will he increase the power, Tony? What do we reckon?
Well, I would, for a start, because I'd be very annoyed not getting a ball and thinking, right, well, I've deliberately took that pace off the break, and I'm thinking I'm not having that again, because he lost the frame because of it, because Ian Alley stepped up, said thank you very much, because the balls were really easy as well. I won't say they were all available, as long as you take them in the right order and take them out well, which Ian Alley did.
Yeah, maybe just a slight dip in concentration. Could have taken an extra couple of seconds. I personally think he did a little bit too much with the white ball when he probably didn't need to, but here we go. Let's have a look. Yeah, a lot more power in that one.
Yes, indeed.
And as we always say, it certainly happens to me, and I think it happens to most players. If you make a mistake when you really shouldn't, the game has a sort of habit of punishing you. And as we see the split that Tom Cousins has just got, I don't think he's missing these. These are all on. Reds look good. I don't want to jinx him, of course, but I would not be surprised if in a couple of minutes' time Tom is sitting back down 4-2 up and Ian's ruined that mistake then.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, there's no real path where you can see Tom tripping over on these reds. We just pick these ones off as he goes at the table. The bottom ones into the middle ones, the two reds at the top. The last red, I'm guessing, will be the one that's sandwiched between the two yellows, because that'll be his last red to get onto the black ball.
Yeah, and there's not really too many problems with that, as long as you get on it okay. Not sure if he went to play on it that time. I don't think he probably did, but again, if you're sat in your seat and you're Ian Alley, you're trying to look for where can he possibly go wrong here? Am I going to get back to the table? But I don't really see too much. I
think he did. I think he wanted to get rid of this now, and I think in Tom's mind he was looking at the two reds that are in the centre of the table. One of those to get on the black.
Yeah, and that's you're probably right, because it gives him a wider scope then, doesn't it, to get on the 8 ball? Yeah, good point.
But he might be forced into going the other way now, because he's certainly not going to play to go from this red to the one at the top to come down to the one in the middle. So I think he's just going to have to take that red that's between the two yellows last Well, as long as he just gets slightly above it, he can do anything he wants to get on that black then.
Yeah, he'll screw this red in and try and get by the blue spot, as it were, which he's done perfectly. And now it's a case of just rolling this one in. Maybe use the cushion if you need to. There, that's where he wants to be, where he's pointing the tip of his cue.
Yeah, he wants to have an angle now just to roll that red in, and the cue ball then will glide past that furthest yellow up and just slide the cue ball onto the bottom rail, and it'll be straight behind that black ball.
Yeah, nicely done. Now if he's got the angle, he'll probably just play a little cannon here onto the yellow. If he hasn't, he may elect to screw it in and use the cushion, which is actually a nicer shot to play. You feel like you can really get a bit of bite on the cue ball rather than dropping ball in dead weight.
I never like to roll them. Never trust them. Never trust a rolling ball, just a gentle roll. Hated them.
And as we said, it's now 4-2. So one mistake has cost Ian 2 frames, and that is the level you're up against when you're playing Tom.
The familiar pose of Tom. So just wonder what he's thinking about. Well, he's probably thinking, "Oh, what am I going to have for lunch later?" Don't know whether to go across, go to Nando's or something. Plenty of eateries around here.
Yeah, lots of good places to go.
Yeah, just there in his own little world. Did I lock the back door this morning when I left the house?
Yeah, he's certainly feeling a lot more relaxed than the man at the table is, for sure. Nice break there again from Ian.
Yeah, he gave them a bit of stick, didn't he?
That was a bit of frustration, I think, from his last visit, for sure.
He'll be happy with the split. That was more of a wallop.
It was. Now, where is he going? He's going yellows, yeah. Definitely would be my choice. Just swing this one around too. I don't think he played that. I think he would have been playing slightly narrower angle to actually get rid of the yellow that's nearest the 8-ball spot. So he's going to have to slightly reroute. It's not a problem.
No, you can leave that. I was about to say leave this yellow till second to last. To use that, be there to come across for the last yellow nearest the black, but he's going the other way. But she's no problem because he'll just leave himself an angle on the ball at the top now. So he'll come off the top rail with the cue ball and then back down and try and get the cue ball landing between the black and the yellow, and then the frame's dead. Yeah,
absolutely right. Just pop this and leave a sort of half ball yellow. And there we go. And this is it's all about the feel of the table. So he can come off 2 cushions if he wants to, which gives him every chance of being on the yellow easier. Personally, I just think a little bit of touch of left-hand side. Look, there we go. And he's judged the pace perfectly.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about the difference in the tables now. Is getting that pace right, which is a skill in itself.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you know you can trust the table to run true, which gives you confidence. So 4-3, Ian, very, very nice clearance to stay in touch with Tom Cousins.
Yeah, a little reminder just for Tom.
He's not going to go away as we turn back to Beauchamp Talbert. 2-1 currently to Amy. This is on the YouTube channel if you want to pop over there and have a watch of this one.
Yeah, 2 great cueists from the women's game. Like I said before, Mary, I mean, she was fantastic. When she won that British Open, the finishes she was taking out, just incredible. And because she has come from a snooker background, but she now has, I was talking to her last night, has learnt the game of pool because of the little intricate cannons and the way you go around finishes. And she's been a great student of the game as she's come into it. And what an addition to Ultimate Pool Women's Pros as well. What a player she is.
Yeah. Does a lot on the mental side, does a lot of work on the mental side of things. Listens to quite a lot.
Yeah,
she's always got her earpods in.
Yeah, and she'll enjoy that because she'll see Amy as because Amy's at the pinnacle of the game. One of the greats. Those are the matches she wants to play. She doesn't want to be. I want an easier draw. I want to play Amy Beauchamp. I want to play Kirsty Lee Davis. All the big guns.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to top cat. 4-3 in front here against Ian Alley, and at the table it's race to 8. We've still got 26 plus minutes left on the match clock, so you won't be thinking that this will be going anywhere near any sort of 6 red shootouts. They've been going on at quite a brisk pace, haven't they, Greg?
They certainly have, and as we're talking, I wonder if Tom has slightly come undone there. He played a cannon to try and develop these reds, but I don't think he's landed on anything, so slightly tricky spot for Tom now. Unless this red does go, tell a lie, he is on it, so... Oh, he's tried to cannon the red out, so a lot of work to do here. There is hope for Ian Alley. He'll be in his chair, not feeling too bad about the position of these reds.
The thing is, though, they all go, and yeah, he's had a bit of a... He's thrown his arm at that one time a little bit, which is not the usual Cousins-esque sort of shot. But you can see the one that on the rail that goes past yellows into the top corner. Those two in the middle, yes, they've got yellows in the way a little bit, but the one on the right will go into that centre. It will go down into the bottom right-hand corner. I still feel we'll probably take these out.
Yeah, I think if it were me, I would be trying to pop this red down the rail now, because all you've got to do is focus on the pot. The position takes care of itself, and if you get this, the clearance is pretty much done.
Well, if Ian Alley was feeling quite happy sat there, he won't be anymore after that ball's just been dispatched down the rail.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tony. They actually looked probably slightly harder than they were. Either that or Cousins makes it look easier than it is. One of the two. Not sure which one.
Somewhere in the middle, I think Greg will be fine. But yeah, I mean, the way you play, and I've watched you play for a good while now. This is your sort of finish. You're very good at dissecting through the balls. Very precise with your position. When you don't have to move them, don't move them.
Yeah, and I think it's slightly different when you're in the com box and you're actually looking at the table from above to actually see.
You've got a different angle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's picked these apart beautifully.
Yeah, lovely control.
And as Tony said, he is really not... just doesn't hit the ball with any pace. I mean, he stuns everything in, he hits it with authority, but it just looks like he's just rolling them in from when you're watching, and that is, again, such an asset to have. Calm as you like, just another clearance down the club in his mind. That's how he sees it. Everything's easy. Stroll back to his seat. Job done.
I'll tell you this now, and I've not seen an awful lot. I sort of playing the juniors as he's come up a little bit, and I've just sort of started to watch him a lot more now he's a pro. Is young Jaden Billingham. There is similarities between the way the unflustered approach and the way he sort of again ambles around the table.
He reminds me of Russell Burgess, who I don't know if you know Russell Burgess. Plays.
I do know Russell.
He forever I used to see him at county, and he'd always have his jacket on. He'd be playing in a jacket, and it's middle of winter outside, and Jaden Billingham's the same. Just very relaxed, plays in his jacket. As we watch Ian Alley break off in the 9th frame. Needs a ball. Oh, no.
Only saving grace, if it is one, is that red has just blocked the yellow bottom left, because the yellows for one split second there look they were absolute tap-ins, but one red has just come down to just make Tom have a bit of work to do.
Yeah, so where he was pointing his cue is where he wants the white ball in order to be able to play a developing shot on the awkward yellow, as Tony alluded to. How's he land? He's landed pretty good, I think.
So what would you do here? Would
So
you be playing a one into the centre and pushing the cue ball through?
Yeah, play this one into the centre. He's too much angle, I think, to roll through. He may be okay. Otherwise, it's a just above centre sort of stun type shot off the bottom cushion. There we go. However, he didn't want that red coming in the path of the yellow. I don't think he's on anything now, Tony. He may be on a cut to the... Yeah, he's looking at a cut. Cut this yellow into the left middle. Doesn't really know too much about where the white ball's going.
A lovely pot after what can only be described as a very unfriendly bump when he went into that last little cluster that you talked about, Greg.
Yeah, and as we see, providing the yellow nearest the right middle pocket goes, which I think it does, it should be okay. In this position, it really is just about picking your route from here to make it as easy as you possibly can. So immediately Tom is getting rid of that yellow over the pocket so that the 8 ball passes. And now he's got 3 yellows to negotiate. And just look, he's an area on the left-hand side of the table where he can be on the 8 ball. And that's why he's putting his tip down where he needs to be on the last yellow, which will be the one over the middle bag.
Yeah, once you just screw the cue ball through the gap of all those reds, straight in a straight line across the table, get right behind it on that rail. I'll tell you what is it tricky now with this very, very fast cloth, and I've seen a couple of players do it, is when you're playing that little screw shot, what he's going to play in a second into that middle, if you dig slightly underneath the middle of the cue ball, you could pull that backwards.
Yeah, that's a good point. You have to realise that, remind yourself almost that the cue ball is slightly smaller than the others, and you can aim a little bit higher with this having the same effect.
But the thing is, Greg, the cloth is so reactive as well to any spin on the cue ball.
Yeah, that's right. And because of that, Tom, again, who likes to hit the ball slightly harder, as you said earlier, decides to go a bit deeper and ensure that nothing could happen, nothing could go wrong. And I think if Ian Alley does lose this match, he can go back to that chance that he had where he should have been going ahead in the match, and that was the turning point. That's what's turned this whole match on its head.
Yeah, the crowd appreciated that one as well. Got a nice round of applause there from the watching audience.
And again, that's all down to the new additions, the new arena, courtesy of Ultimate Pool, and the improvements that they continue to make with this game. No better feeling for Cousins and for Ian walking into that amazing arena, knowing that they've got quite a few people watching them.
That's it.
Appreciating their skills.
And there's Darryl, our referee, for this match.
Yeah, should have a mention for them. What a fantastic job they all do.
Yeah, they've worked very, very hard with the timekeeping behind the scenes as well. They've got all that. It's not just this arena table. There's a whole team of them, and they're looking after in that big, massive room as well with 72 tables in there.
Yeah, absolutely incredible amount of work that goes on behind the scenes, days, weeks in advance of these fantastic events. We as players are lucky. We just have to turn up and get our cues out the case. We should occasionally think and appreciate just how much amazing work goes in from you guys, from all of the commentary team, from everybody actually. Ultimate Pool, it doesn't go unnoticed, or it shouldn't go unnoticed anyway.
Sounds like you're looking for some favourable decisions later down the line, Greg, to me.
Just saying it as it is, mate.
I'm only kidding. Well, he tried to play the little cannon there, Tom, and knock the yellow into the middle, and he's failed.
Yeah, another rare mistake there from Tom. He's made a couple in this match, but
still leads 6-3 because he's made less than Ian.
Yeah, very true. So I think yellows would be my choice, and just negotiating an angle after playing this shot, which he's done, so that he can roll this yellow into the middle and cannon those 2 awkward yellows so that they're impossible.
Yeah, whichever set you took, there's The problem for each colour was down in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, I think the guide for going yellows is the fact that it's an easier developing shot off one of these yellows into the middle, or the yellow into the middle.
That was a gamble. He took a little gamble there playing that cannon, and he's okay.
Presumably that yellow didn't go into the middle then, maybe. I mean, I can only assume that's why he developed it. But he's going to have to get these 2 yellows developed pretty soon, I would imagine, off the next shot.
I think he played it off there because he wanted to hold the cue ball there, and I think that red's come back and got in the way of that other yellow.
Yeah, good point. Do you know what? Perhaps the yellow goes. That's what he's looking at now. If it doesn't...
I think he's hoping that it goes because he's landed not in the greatest position, I don't think. It's a bit straight. So he's going to have to play the one in the centre, surely.
Yeah, I don't like this because, as we know, the longer you leave developing your awkward balls, the harder it's going to get.
Can he force the angle? No, he can't. Well, I think the only thing he can do here is slide this over the bag. Surely it won't. If it squeezes in, it squeezes in dead weight, and it's still not going to be on anything. He's played a screw. Maybe we. Oh, he's played off the other yellow. Well, do you know what? For all my years of pool, I don't know how he's actually managed to do it. I didn't see the shot. Did you?
I'd be checking my shoes after that shot.
Well, it's an incredible shot. He's seen something I didn't see.
But he was relying on a lot of luck there to where the balls landed. But yeah, nicely spotted from Ian, and credit to him. He's fighting hard in this match.
Yeah. Never giving in. And that was, well. And here we go. Just look at this shot here.
So he's actually hit the first yellow half ball nearly. And because he had so much side on it, it's straightened the second yellow up.
Yeah, incredible shot.
So full credit to Ian there. He's managed to get out. And it's Ian to break. As he comes to the table now. Desperate to get a reasonably quick break and finish here. 17 minutes left on the clock. Just wants to keep that little bit of pressure on Tom if he can. Big break required. And boy, did he hit those well. Absolutely fantastic break. You saw instantly the cue ball connecting flush with the front ball and coming straight back up the table, which as a player is exactly what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Great break.
He's elected for reds, and the reason he's done that is because he only has to play one good shot now, which he's done, and he's opened everything up. Really, really nice there from Ian. He didn't hit them too hard, but he made sure he got through the cue ball with enough pace, so he's guaranteed to be on one of these balls. And again, you see, in my opinion, he does do a lot with the cue ball. And in that position, did he need to play it like that? I'm not sure, but easier for me to be saying in the commentary box. He's now got to play a decent shot. Little stun across, holding shot. Ah, it's lovely.
Yeah, that's a perfect shot there from Ian Alley. And this could be 2 in a row.
Yeah, and he's just reminding Tom, I'm not going away. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to ask you the question in the next frame. Can you keep going with your level? If you don't, I'm going to be right there to pick up the pieces. He's okay here. He's just going to stun this one in. As long as he leaves any type of angle on his last red, he'll be okay. I'm not sure I would have gone about these the way he has, but he's done it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, each to their own. He had his route and he had his plan, and it's worked out for Ian Alley. And this for 6-5.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Tony said, that's now two racks on the bounce for Ian from 6-3 down. So Really, really good show of character there from Ian. Great player when he gets on a roll. Very much a confidence player. Enjoys the big arena, the big setup, people watching, enjoys all of that. And that's definitely when you'll see Ian Ali play his best pool. What were you? What was your thoughts on sort of playing the first match in the morning early? Were you? I would imagine you were a morning person, Tony. Did you prefer to play later on or in the evenings?
Midnight.
Fair
No,
enough.
I wasn't keen on the early mornings, and not because I've been out the night before. Generally, I always like to play in the evening. The 7 o'clock in the evening was always my sort of perfect time, I'd say.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would, a lot of players attest to that. They like to play later on rather than those early matches. Not that 11 o'clock's early, let's be honest, but see Tom, he's been dicing a little bit with that bottom pocket. He did on his last break and he came up dry. Done it again.
This is a nice split, Craig, as well. Cue ball was flirting.
Yeah.
It's not his greatest break at all. It's caused him a bit of a problem.
And this is why it's easy to say, but the fact that Ian Ali has done really well to stay in the match, he's not lost any hope, and he's now got his just rewards, because as Tony says, these yellows or reds, quite honestly, are sitting there waiting. He's electing yellows. Let's see what shot he plays first. That's okay, providing...
I think he's available up into the top left. He has that yellow, but the yellow might... Does it pass into the middle?
I think he's played a little drift down shot there. He wanted to be much further down to get rid of that awkward yellow at the bottom, but he's obviously not come through enough. Has he? Well, that's perfect. If he's played that, that's a phenomenal shot.
Great shot. Absolutely pinpoint accuracy.
And it doesn't need to do anything now. No cannon required, just a little screw shot. Although he has cannoned into the red to hold it, so that's okay.
So how would you approach those two at the top then, Greg? Which way would you be looking to go?
Yeah, so if for me, I'm trying to get on one of them as soon as I can, preferably now. Can he screw over to the cushion? I think he tried that, but he's actually landed okay. He's going to try and...
Has he been a bit fortunate there to leave the slight angle to get over?
Yeah, you could say he has. I think for me now, I'm going to be aiming for just below the middle pocket. I want to be on that cushion if I can. Try and leave the last one as straight, the last yellow as straight as you possibly can, or the second to last yellow I should say, and he looks like that's absolutely fine. Now you've got two options. He can either leave it where he's just put his finger, because the yellow goes long into the bottom right hand pocket, also into the right hand middle. I wouldn't be trying to screw it back. I think you just take your medicine here and roll it through. Yeah, that's okay. He's just got to focus on the pot here, Tony, hasn't he, and leave himself a shot on the 8-ball.
Yeah, and you can see where he wants the cue ball just to slide behind that red. Long pot, long yellow into the bottom right.
But again, wouldn't it be better just to stun this in and leave the white ball sort of 6-8 inches into the table, because you're not going to miss that 8-ball. I would be, yeah, I think he... Oh no, he is playing top. This is dangerous.
He's made it.
It's been all right, yeah. Nicely done again from Ian.
Well, this black ball to pull level from 6-3 down. This is a big comeback from Ian Ali. Well.
Really, really good stuff from Ian Ali. Credit to him. 6 apiece. And we did say earlier on that the 6-red shootout was not looking imminent. It's changed now. There's potential. 11 minutes and change on the clock.
Yep, indeed it is. And we're going to just drift over to Arena 3, where we see Amy Beauchamp. She has a healthy lead against Mary Talbert. And at the table...
Good front runner, Amy Beauchamp, as well.
Yeah.
Very, very good when she's got a lead against her opponents. You know more about Amy than I do, Tony, but she strikes me as a very much, again, a confidence player. Once she gets on a roll, very hard to stop.
Very, very strong in the mind is Amy. I mean, you can't win world titles unless you have all of that, and she She has all the weaponry. You know, she can play the long game. She can go, you know, she can play the power game. And great potter. Very, very good with the cue ball.
Yeah, nice little touch there from Amy. As we'll see her pot this 8-ball to take a 5-1 lead.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a big ask now for Mary Talbert to come back against Amy from that score line.
Yeah,
Amy, of course, was disappointed with her British Open, which Mary obviously went on to win. And this is the reply, I think.
Yeah, this is her revenge. Because, as you say, from 5-1 behind, race to 7, Mary's not only going to need to play faultless pull, but she's also going to need to see some mistakes from Amy. As we see the cueist on Mary's top. And rightly so, she is a phenomenal cueist. As Tony said earlier, former high-level snooker player. It's always one of those things people say that if you can play snooker to any level, you can play pool, and that, you know, that is true in its own right, in that you can transition. You've got the technical skills to be able to play pool, but as you know, once you get into it, and as I found out, it's all about the patterns, taking balls out the right way, the order, as well as the tactical side. You need everything. And just when Ian didn't want a dry break, unfortunately he's come up with one, and look at these reds, Tony.
I know, this is normally where the pool gods step in on the side of Tom Cousins.
But Ian's going to be sat there in his chair now thinking, look at all this hard work I've done to get back to 6-all, and I've left these. Wow. And in fact, yellows are even easier, Tony. The 8-ball goes fine, so yeah, go yellows, definitely. Yeah,
I mean, that's a sickener for Ian Alley. I mean, how do you feel about it if it's you? I mean, I just saw the face you pulled when he had that break.
You are ill, unfortunately. That's really hard, because he hasn't hit them bad at all. And this is where the game is so cruel. But at the same time, Ian missed a chance early in the match to be ahead. So, you know, you have to look at it as a whole, I guess. The match doesn't hinge on one shot or one piece of luck. However, Tom won't be worried about any of that. He'll just be concentrating on getting these last.
It just goes to show, Greg, how near to perfection you've got to be to win a match.
Correct. Yeah. And if you want to win a tournament, you've got to continue in that vein all the way through. Very, very tough to do.
Well, just going to screw this back a bit. I'll take the one in the middle next. The last yellow is just sat there waiting to be potted, and a nice easy position onto the black.
Yeah, and I wonder what break we'll see from Tom to try and win the match. Will he stick? What do you think? Will he stick with it? Will he go to the cut?
I'll tell you what, I bet he goes to a cut break.
All right, I'll have a cup of coffee with you.
That's very kind. I'll have a lager while you're up there. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, we'll see. Tony reckons he's going to go with the cut break. I reckon he's going to go straight down the middle.
Okay, we shall see very shortly. Anyway, in goes the black, and Tom Cousins wraps up that pretty easy finish, we have to say. But then nothing's easy at 6-all, you know, in a race to 8. You've still got to keep your wits about you and do the job. It's easy to get complacent, maybe.
Absolutely, yeah. He could have been, you know, any other player might have slightly rushed those or got a bit excited. We know that's not the case with Tom. He's been there, seen it, done it so many times. But for Ian and his followers, they must be absolutely devastated with that break. And there we see Ian. All he's doing there is sat hoping for a chance. That's all he can ask for now at this stage. So he hit those really well, to be fair, and deserved a ball. So here we go. Tony Holgate definitely owes me a cup of coffee. So
no,
that's good.
Don't look the other way, Greg.
Wow.
Ugh.
Wow.
Now, what's his starter? That's the important thing, is the starter ball, Greg.
It is. They were looking absolutely perfect whilst they were running here, but they've gone, I would say, slightly tricky. They're not a foregone conclusion for sure. think yellows are probably the balls, and, well, I say that. The reason I say yellows is because they all go, but he's elected for reds, and I can understand that. Play the plant first, but...
Hello. I don't like that. That could change the manner of this match. Does he play? I think he has to play safe here. I think he has to just go behind it. Whoa. He's going to free the other red. I thought he might just roll up behind.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why, because obviously the red that he was closest to is causing Ian some problems now. So he's tried to lump a little bit more pressure onto Ian. However, providing Ian can find a nice little spot for this cue ball, which will be in the corner again. There you go. He's put a bit of pressure back on, although he's left the red into the middle.
Yeah.
I think we'll see Tom slow up again and just play a snooker potentially.
Well, we're down to the 15 seconds of shot as well, so decisions are going to have to be made very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely right. Could the shot there, though, have been for Tom to play the red and drop in on the yellow, so that he forced Ian to actually have to play out of it rather than keeping his red in an awkward position? It's all hard decisions when you're under the match clock and you're out there playing. Very, very interested to see how this frame progresses now.
Well, Ian Alley still has this extension as well. He hasn't used it, so that might even have a bearing on it.
Yeah, it's a good point. He's just going to gently skim thin off this yellow. Oh, he's gone too thin, but he's okay. Dicing with the knuckle there. What's Tom got in his box of tricks now? Is he going to come hard off the cushion and try and knock this red up? He has done. Has he gone in off? Ian's not impressed with that one, Tony.
No, I can understand why. He must have used his extension. I didn't see when he used it.
No, because it's catching them out, isn't it now? The 15 seconds, as it does with most players. It's hard again. You've not only got to adjust to the match clock originally, but you've then got to change it and adjust to when it comes down to the 15 seconds. Probably only Sean Chipperfield who looks exactly the same no matter what time he's playing under, because he can play everything in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. Well, loss of turn played there by Ian Alley. Not a bad shot.
Yeah, nicely done there from Ian. It's now changed the dynamics slightly. Again, Tom was, you would say, in control before that happened. Again, having to rush. Only just got there with 1 second to go.
Well, a bit of drama, though, for the crowd to look at.
Yeah, now then. Does Ian elect to... He could have actually gone for the yellow in the middle and then played to pot Tom's red. He's gone for something different, and that's not too bad either. But... can Tom see any of this? Definitely see the red into the middle. Can he see the one nearest to him? Yes, he can.
Tom just wants a clear path of one of these reds. He likes him in the middle of the table because he does give him a wide range of possibilities to try and shift that bad ball.
Yeah, that's right. He could even play a plant potentially if he got directly behind one of the reds, as you say.
Well, this now, it's come down to Ian cannot afford to let Tom see one of those two reds. Well, he's potted it out to snooker. Always going to be the danger now then. Can he cut this red into the bottom right-hand corner, Greg, and send the cue ball into red and yellow into that top bit?
Great shout. Yeah, that is exactly the shot he's going to be playing. You need a little bit of luck, but as long as you get the pot. Which he hasn't.
Oh, and he got perfect position on the bread as well. Wow. That ball goes in, it was match up.
Yeah, and Ian then was desperate for the referee to say touching ball because he could have just dropped the red in and left Tom snookered.
Oof.
As it is, he's had to play something.
Oh, he's hit the cushion, that's okay. But he's left it, well, do you play the double, Greg?
No, in my opinion, you just drop on this red and put the leave it over the hole and tuck the white right in behind the yellow. Because then you're forcing Ian to have to play something.
Such a hard shot, though, at the pace you've got to play this. I mean, he's playing your shot. Oh, see that... I don't have my heart in my mouth playing that shot.
But you see, I'd have played it the other way to put the white really close to the yellow. But
I see, yeah. Yeah, that's good thinking.
Because now Ian can play that.
Wow, he's got an angle, I think, on this. But do you play thin off it and snooker?
Well, he's given that shot up, hasn't he? So in my
Or
opinion,
you get the cue in the air, which he's going to. He's going for it.
Here we go. He's got it, but
he's too close. He can't cut that. He's going to have to. That's the length of the table double.
It's a trip.
I'll tell you what. What about twice up?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. You've called it, and that is the shot, isn't it? Because
comes off the top rail and back down, and a big pocket in the corner with the yellow.
He's only got 3 seconds to play it. He's going to go close. Oh no! He's rushed it, and it's cost him. Goodness me! So Ian Alley will be breathing a sigh of relief, a massive sigh of relief now.
Not only that, look where Tom's red is, so the pressure's off in this finish as well.
But also, yeah, and what we haven't noticed, look at the time, 2 minutes 34 left on the clock. So if I was Ian Alley, I would be managing this now, because what you want to do is leave your next break with enough time to clear, but also not enough time so that Tom can counter. Exactly.
But you say that, so if you left enough time to clear, but you go dry,
you're in trouble. Yeah, all these decisions you got to think of. But Tony, I'm sure Ian will just be absolutely delighted that he's in this position, because a few moments ago it was not looking good at all, was it?
I'll tell you what, though, what a dramatic match to start the day as well.
That's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
You're gonna go hard to match the drama, and it still is yet to unfold. For a split second there, you thought he was short, didn't you?
I did, yeah, I did. He's just come enough. He's got it. Nicely done. Oh, and there, the fist there. Look, the fist from Ian Alley. He's loving that.
We go to the last frame. We have 1 minute and 43 seconds available for somebody to win this frame. It's going to be Ian Alley to break. If nobody wins this frame, we will go to a 6-red shootout.
I think we might need something stronger than a cup of coffee after this match, Tony.
Indeed we do.
Anyway, so smile and a handshake, as always, at this stage of every match. 7-all. How desperate is Ian to smash this pack open and get a ball?
The biggest break of Ian Alley's season so far, and here it is. Well, he's made a ball, he's made 2 balls, and, well, there's a chance. What a chance this is for Ian Alley. He has the time, the balls are open. He can steady himself at 1 minute 20, plenty. The reds are there. Are we going to have the upset? From 6-3 down, Ian Alley has come back into this match. How do you reckon he's feeling inside, Greg? He must be bubbling.
Crikey, I'm nervous just watching. So 57 seconds. He's still got plenty of time. Doesn't need to rush, but does need to also just monitor that. So has he got a slight angle to be able to punch up and land on this red on the right-hand cushion?
Well, this is key. You don't want to be leaving yourself something, a real nerve jingler going up the rail.
Look, he's 37 seconds. Time is pushing on. He's got to get a move on.
Oof.
Oh dear.
I don't like this shot. I mean, yeah. Oh. This is a real test of bottle. How's his minerals? Oh, wow. What a shot from Ian Alley.
He's got it.
Incredible.
Look at this. 14 seconds to go. Ian Alley.
This for the match and an incredible win. What a game we've had. Ian Alley fist pumps He's beaten the world number 1 Tom Cousins 8 frames to 7 in a dramatic morning here in Wigan. 6-3 down that man was. What a comeback, Greg, and what a match.
Absolutely incredible match. What a match to kick off.